flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Inman.
Here.
Longstreet.
Here.
Jeremini.
Here.
Ingram. Here. Kane.
Here.
Carrico.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Log.
Here. Can I get a motion to excuse Diane?
So
I have a
moved.
motion to excuse Diane.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the agenda. Is there, or any additions?
Couldn't see me.
Just the weird blank number 5.
Yeah, I saw that.
But other than that,
I mean, when I read it, I couldn't see anything.
I'll move we approve the agenda.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from, sorry, A, August 19th, and B, September 4th work session.
Approval of the minutes for both the 19th and the 4th.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
I have no chairperson report. There's no public. Do we, and I assume, do we have any new business to add and bring?
No, we would have added it to the agenda.
9, continuing business, corn roast. Molly, Kathy.
I think it went great.
I do too. I just think it was a great success considering the weather and all, and it was constant. And I'm kind of curious, I don't know who has the copy from the books from last year, but how did we do compared to last year?
I asked when I brought the money in, I said, can you give me a copy? And she's like, okay, I'll have it down here.
Oh. I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, I don't have it. You probably don't have the papers from last. I don't think they give us one.
So,
I had a paper clip. I thought maybe I had something extra.
But yeah, it was a good turnout, and we had just the right amount of food. They had to go get one more thing of hot dogs, and
yeah.
yeah, it was.
I mean, I like the layout, turned out well considering what was going on in the park, and it's going to probably have to be that from now on, and I think it turned out well.
Yeah, I really got a lot of good compliments on the layout.
I had a few people tell me they liked that layout more than our typical one, actually.
And I loved all having the vendors we had.
I know.
Yeah, a ton of
That was
that.
really nice.
Yes.
A lot of people commented, I
Yeah.
had comments on that.
And now, do you know how many vendors we had?
21. And
That was like a
of the
perfect
ones
number,
I spoke to, I got to speak to already, none of them were upset, all were happy. Most said, those who've been repeats said the foot traffic was a little lower, but they did fine. So
Okay.
Oh, good.
it was interesting just in their experience.
Do you know how the people that along the back trail there, the back part, if they felt like they got traffic too, like where the produce was?
Yeah, he said he did okay. Brandon Thorne was in the back there, and he was real happy. He said, I was emailing with him, he said the community support was really great and everything. He was real pleased with everything, so.
I think he ran a
Yeah,
couple of
he
things
did sell
too.
on a few things. And generally, those vendors were happy too, so.
Okay, good. Did you hear-
The young lady that came and asked about being a vendor there, was she there?
Yes.
She was?
She was there. She was
Okay.
along the side by the courts.
Got it.
And she was, when I talked to her there, she was pretty happy already,
Oh,
so.
good.
She did pretty well.
I did notice, because I had pre-counted the wristbands that were left over from last year.
Oh, nice.
And we did not go through them all. So we only sold 111 wristbands, which I think is probably down half from last year.
Oh, wow.
Because I had bought new wristbands, and so we went through almost all, all but 100, so we sold.
Seemed like there were a ton of kids.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like we were always
Yeah.
giving out wristbands, but it was less, yeah. Too bad there's not a way we could count the people as they come in, right?
Oh, and the pie eating contest was fun. That was
Yeah.
good. That was a good ad.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should
Diane-
definitely do that.
And she said, maybe we should open it up to do the 2 kids' age groups and then let the adults have one.
Yes.
16 and up,
Yes.
or,
'Cause I think a lot of the parents were excited about what was going on.
Yeah.
They might get into it
Yeah, I
themselves.
know.
because she said when the first kids went, then all of a sudden more kids wanted to come after they saw what the first set kids did.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, at first nobody was signing up, and
Yeah.
then
Some of them were there, but face
Did people
painter,
come in
balloon
on the
guy.
corn?
I just
On the boards?
Yeah, it looks like there's a few,
They
yeah.
thought that they were fine and played well. The bags were
Nice.
well received as well, so.
I still think it'd be nice if we could get our logo someone to pay someone to put the logo on a Wolverine Lake.
Maybe shrink wrap might be something to
Yes.
investigate next time, or
I
if
just
we
think-
know anybody.
Yeah, he was afraid that they wouldn't slide properly and
Oh.
stuff. And also, he ended up doing it for about cost. His labor was basically free to build those boards.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, but I mean, I thought it'd be nice if we could finish them just so they said Wolverine Lake on it, or have our heron or something, you know, on it.
Stick a little
We can look
flag
into
with
it,
the.
especially if we're going to use it for other events and things like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And we talked to the participants about how they heard about it and what they might suggest that we do to get more participation. So I wrote down a few of those ideas, and somehow we can advertise at other places that have cornhole tournaments. There's a couple places in Novi, they hold them regularly. But not everybody's on Facebook, so if we may have to, have somebody do Instagram, or I don't know if we have Instagram accounts or anything for our Parks and Rec. Does anyone post on
The
Instagram?
village does not. Parks and Rec,
Village
the
does
village does
Just
not,
next
Parks and Rec
door.
does not have any accounts of its own.
Okay, so it's all
Currently.
under the village?
But it's impossible, we could do so if we thought it would. Actually, there is a Park and Rec account, but I don't think it's been active for about 12 years on Facebook, so, but there is actually one that does exist.
Okay. But not a village one on Instagram?
No, nothing like that. The
Okay.
village does not have Twitter, Instagram, or any of that kind
Was
of
it on
stuff.
that app next door or whatever from the? there's a-
No, I don't.
I threw
don't
it on
use
Nextdoor.
Did you?
Oh, okay. so
Yeah, at least
Mark did.
once, I think twice. But I'm not sure if that got anything or not, any traction.
We did have a couple of people who were out of town that I contacted from last year, and some of them returned. So that was good. So, it was a success, we just have to get the word out there more. So,
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Sorry, B, blood drive. Mark?
It's scheduled for Wednesday still going to happen. Unfortunately, they did an upgrade, they were doing an upgrade to the website starting on Friday. It was supposed to be ready to go this morning, it is still down. So you can't register, they can't send out emails. So I've got the list of who's signed up already and everything. And so they can, of course, take walk-ins. If it's not up tomorrow or tonight, I'll post, and anybody who still wants to get registered ahead of time or signed up ahead of time can just email me, and I'll get them on the list. And then if it looks like that, we'll end up having to have people fill out the information here when they show up, rather than being able to do anything beforehand.
I noticed that it's from 12 to 4. Can you come in at 4, or you have to be done by 4, do you know?
They kind of want to be done by 4, because they got to then take an hour, and then they got to get out, and there's a 7 o'clock water board meeting. So that's why we had to
I
do
can't get here
that. That's
till
why we
4.
had
I
to
was
cut the
hoping to do
clock
it
off
late.
when we did, because otherwise, originally, the plan was to have it go longer into the evening with the water board meeting and with them needing an hour and making sure that we wanted to have the room cleared and all bloodstains cleaned up beforehand. We decided to set it then so that there wasn't any problems for anybody else. But that was also just a matter of, from the time we started doing this to the time we had, it was about 6 weeks. They're already getting booked up by then, so I was trying to find a day that worked for everybody. Now, if we do another one in another quarter, say in December, we have more lead time, we can find a better day that isn't quite filled with village stuff and things like that, and we can do different hours, because I don't think 12 to 4 was the best time.
How many people have signed up, do you know?
7,
Okay. And what were they hoping minimum?
15 donations, so
Okay.
we are well below.
So they're going to do both arms.
Well, if you got the good stuff, we'll take a quart. So, yeah, but it's going to happen. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll get some walk-ins and things like that.
Holiday decorating contest. I ran these by Cody. I changed the categories. Christmas is on the back. The bottom is what we had last year, so I added an extra category, which is will just be our choice. It'll be our choice of who we choose to win, or who we think is the best. And then I thought on the flyer to add, I saw this on another flyer, the date that everything has to be submitted, the date that we would go out and look, which would be that weekend that we have. And then when the winners will be announced, not that anybody calls the village and says who won, who won. And the Christmas ones are on the back.
So, on the entry form, did we take off where they pick the category?
I looked at the last one and I didn't see that on there, where they could pick the category.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think they just self-declare
They
it,
just
and then
did
we
it?
just ignore it during the
That's what I mean,
instruction.
like, why don't we ask them to take that off of there?
I don't
Because
think it's
feel-
on the flyer. I looked at the last one. That's how I took the last year's category.
Okay, but their submission form, they don't have it on their category?
I didn't see it on there.
Okay.
It wasn't.
I would maybe just,
No, I think, isn't it just a flyer and then they submit their
That's what I
stuff
thought.
via email?
But for whatever reason, some do.
So,
seem to
because we
miss
had
it.
themes, I think, last year.
Yeah, I think some of them did, maybe just on their own, because
Yeah, they're on
they
their
saw
own.
what the categories were, and I think they suggested
Yeah.
that's what theirs was adequate for.
this might be last year or 2
Yes,
years
I
ago,
remember
but
that too.
everyone on here has a category.
Right, that was the thing, yeah, they all have.
I would just double check with Paige or whoever's doing it, take the
Yes, make
category
sure
off,
it's
right?
on.
Because that was confusing for us. We'd have 10 entries for one,
But we
2
want,
for
we
another,
want
and we're
to,
like, this kind of goes in this one instead.
but we want to list the categories on the flyer. But
Yes.
I don't think there was anything they filled out on, it just said name, address. You are willing to release your address and pictures online. I don't remember that saying, please submit your category, but I will
Yeah, I
remind her
would,
to do that.
right? Do we all want that? No category, we choose them?
Makes the most sense.
We don't pay attention to the categories.
All right.
anyway.
Well, I felt like
we
I
don't-
was when we were
we
doing
don't-
it at first.
I think we were trying to adhere to it, and then we realized it got a little, we would
Got out of
differ
hand.
on,
We
or
just
somebody would
ended
put
up
down,
ignoring them.
or somebody would put down two.
Two.
And then you're
Yes,
going, well, you.
Spectacular/Kelly.
Yeah, and you kind of have to just pick it out anyways.
So I do have a question for the awards choice. I mean, can one of the other three win, or it has to be a totally separate one now?
Yeah,
Okay,
I just
okay.
thought that would be something that we could pick,
Okay.
whoever we felt deserved it and wasn't the skeleton guy or whoever, you know what I mean? That always.
Because I was also looking at the Christmas
Yeah.
ones, and the last one says the one they enjoyed the most. Well, one you enjoyed the most could be one of the ones that's already won.
Right, right.
So that's why I was a little,
I was just trying to add an extra category so we could include,
okay.
so like, there's 5 that entered the Griswold, but we only picked one, but that ended up, there was another one in there that ended up being our favorite or something. or-
Okay, that's just
Or the character
a little bit
one,
of
or-
clarification.
Snacks with Santa, we have a date, but Chair's not here, same with letters to Santa.
The only thing I was going to suggest, even though she's not here, is that we might want to submit a date right away before
Why?
Snacks with Santa, because there
next
was,
year?
yes, since this
Well,
one
that's
was
why I was
already
wondering
taken.
about Easter, because that one,
That was taken too, I just remember.
no, but when the Christmas one was taken last year, whatever, I don't remember which one it was, they did it a year ahead, but now the year's up, so I'm not sure
Yeah, I
anything's
just, I don't know,
scheduled.
because the Sunday isn't the best, doing this on a Sunday, so I'm just thinking that maybe we ought to see if we can't get a date for next year, like now, before, and jump to it before someone
Yeah.
else says. That was just my thoughts.
Well,
Because Sunday's going to be tough.
It's
since
probably
Thanksgiving,
gonna be
yeah,
in-
Working it.
Oh, was there, because I know the first, now whether they'll do it again, Commerce has their tree lighting the first Saturday of the month. That's why we couldn't have the first Saturday of the month. So whether they're going to do that again.
Well, we get our date in
2025,
first.
I think Commerce probably overrules.
I think that when they did that celebration, because it's new, kind of, right? That's the date they locked in for on and on forevermore.
But,
I think we're normally at least the second.
no, they were the first, because it always interferes with, I have a standing first Saturday of the month in December event.
I'd have to go back and look. It was always like the 9th, the 12th.
Yeah,
I've
I was
never
talking,
seen
it was
it
kind of like the
before
second Saturday, but
Yeah,
not
not the
Sunday.
first.
It was always like the second Saturday
Yeah,
of the
well, if we
month.
can lock in the second Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Just make it a Saturday, not a
Just have
Sunday.
it, like, repeat, ask whether they would do that for us, like, tree lighting, because of it being very time sensitive.
It's helpful. I just don't look at the date.
year was
Have my phone up.
I mean, for next year?
Yeah, just so I could give them an option.
Well, do we already have the Richardson Center book for the 15th, though? for this?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we are for
Okay.
this year, but
Yeah.
But we're
So we're looking at
thinking
December
ahead.
next year.
Saturday,
2022.
too,
Yeah,
as
see, it's
opposed
always
to
the second or the third.
Which is a night, that
we
was so
like
late.
December 13th next year. I mean, Sunday to me is not a good day to do
I
this
know.
party.
That
It's very
wasn't our
tough for me
choice.
to be there. And, you know, those football
We did it
games
on the
are on.
11th and-
Sundays are big,
I
you're in
don't
the
know if
playoffs.
church.
Or-
That
We did it
is-
the
See, that's
11th
my
on the
big
11th.
That's my event, so I won't be able to set up or
Second
anything.
weekend, second Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, we should just do it now.
So let's go out to 25.
So it'd be the
Next year will be
13th.
it'll be 2025, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the December
My brain's a little-
13th.
So December 13th, yeah, just try and see if we can book that now. Because if they're going to use December 6th as the tree lighting, then if we can book that now for the 13th, then problem
Yeah.
solved. And this will give Diane plenty of time to book Santa for that date.
Right.
And, yeah. And if they say, oh, no, we're doing the tree lighting on the 13th, then we'll take the 6th,
Okay.
is what I would suggest.
I was looking at my notes from last year, Lori, just because I pulled up one, and it says we sold between 140 and 150 children's wristbands last year, so.
But I knew it was less, because we didn't go through
Yeah,
the...
I thought, yeah, you were saying it was like double.
And I don't know if we want to try and do the
The bunny?
bunny at the same time.
Might as well.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think we could.
Well, we normally do it, because it always interferes with me, the day before Palm Sunday, but
And I don't, my calendar isn't bringing that up. I don't
so
know.
When
April
is Easter?
is the 20th,
April 20th is Easter this year?
yes.
So
What
then
are
we
we
go
doing
April
at the
12th.
12th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well book it.
Okay.
Good, all right, I think that's good for us to do that. Okay, now we can move on.
I know it's not on here, but have you done anything with the mural or?
Oh, no, I'm just still researching. it.
Okay. I couldn't remember, and I didn't bring my papers from last month. Was there anything extra? Did you have come up, oh, your stuff? I just remember the boat. I didn't know if you had anything else. It might have been Diane that kept coming up with different things.
No, I don't remember reading about that and maybe read the minutes for
Yeah, it
this
won't be
week.
in the minutes.
So, okay.
Pending business, is there anything new with the Veterans Memorial?
Actually, I was going to bring up something on new additional events. Just, I brought this up, you guys, briefly, but looking at doing a farmer's market next year. And it would be, as I'm looking at it, and I've talked a little bit with some of the vendors, it would be on Tuesdays in the evenings, so something like 3 to 7:30.
At Clara Miller?
Yes. So once we get the playground in, a little better idea of how we lay it out. That way, when we have Tuesdays in the park, we could tie that into that and call that like the Kids' Day kind of thing as well, and take advantage of that as to help draw crowds.
Yeah,
Just want to see if anybody here's got any opinions. I was thinking about posting on Facebook, see what the village thinks, the residents think.
Yeah, I mean, Walls Lake Farmers Market's been really busy the few times I've been over there.
And I figure they're the
evening
morning.
Might be nice for working people that
Yeah.
can't make the morning. It might
Right.
be nice to be alternative.
Well, I was joking around with a vendor, and I said, the nice thing is, you'll have people on Benstein that are stuck in traffic, and they can just take a break, and they can take 20 minutes off from the traffic and get their veg and whatever, and then they can go back to their, trying to get home, because it's always backed up there, so.
If we do this, would we want like a banner we could hang on that fence, so
We
people
would
on
get some,
Benstein
well, you don't even need, I mean, we get some signage for sure, and have some stuff printed, but it would be a way, but then, that of course would pay for itself with the vendor fees and everything else. We have a good space in general. It's very visible from the street, so I think that would help too. We have the parking lot. So, but yeah, I was gonna figure I'd post on Facebook, see what people say, get some feedback there, start doing some research into what to be aware of and things like that when you're doing something on a weekly basis. The only day of the year or the summer where I would say we definitely not have it would be if if a Tuesday fell on July 3rd, because that would just be a mess.
I mean, not.
And that would be the one day where we would obviously want to cancel it. But, and I would probably run it from something like June to mid-October or something along those lines. I don't really see the point opening it in May when there's not as much stuff available yet. But yeah, I think that it would be an interesting thing to offer. Wixom does not offer a farmer's market, so folks coming from that side of town, which we're facing, would have another option there as well.
Yeah.
There's Milford on Thursdays.
Thursday night.
So, but there seems to be genuine interest from a lot of the vendors. Spoke to the produce vendor that we had, and he would be interested. And obviously, that's the key to building that. So, yeah, I figured I would start looking into that. And
So what kind of staffing, like a,
minimal to none. Generally speaking, these vendors know what they're doing, so once you start giving them the layout, once they know where they're going, and they get used to it, they'll just show up on their own. Big things I would want to make sure I'd oversee is that we make sure the bathrooms are cleaned that day, so that there's a little, and it's stocked, things like that. Making sure that vendors have lane assignments and are paid up, or if there needs to be collection, going out there to collect. But there would not be a lot of requirements on us in terms of being on duty all the time and things like that. It would be more of a, because frequently they show up and there's nobody from Walled Lake at their farmer's market, because, again, these folks know what they're doing, and everything's already cordoned off and everything, so.
so what about Parks and Rec doing like concessions through the booth there
I would
at some point?
probably just keep it for, at least next year, I would probably just keep it to the farmers market, or to the Tuesdays in the Park days. And then otherwise letting, if we get trucks there, food trucks or what have you that want to come out, they can do it. And things like that as an option.
That would be
Yeah,
interesting to do a
that'd be
food
good.
truck at the same
Yeah.
time. You shop at the market and get your dinner at the same
Yeah.
time.
I think it would be an easy thing to get a food truck out there and things like that for that in that case, because there would be a natural attraction as well
Yeah.
from the foot traffic. And there's a lot of those kinds of folks out there too that would probably be interested.
Because I
So-
tried getting food trucks before as an idea, and unless they knew how many people were coming, they
Yeah.
weren't willing to make the
A
commitment.
lot of them want at least to be able to sell at least 100 meals or 150 meals or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a lot.
And if you can't provide them with a certainty of that, then
I mean, I'll have like 10.
it falls
I
through.
have 12.
And that was one of our issues when we would have them at the Tuesdays in the parks. This is before COVID and everything, so a million years ago at this point, but some of them were frustrated because, and then there was ones, we found a good one that worked for us because they weren't as concerned with that, with those kinds of numbers, but a lot of them, they need to make got to make something. But I think that would be something we could offer as well. So yeah, I'll start working on that and getting some more input and things like that from the village, and then working on whatever documentation we would want to have for vendors and such.
Right on. I'd be down to help if you need
Yeah, me
help.
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
What about the cancer fundraiser concert
concert.
party that?
They're doing something in Detroit instead, they decided to do,
Oh,
is
okay.
what I found out. They decided not to do it at the park. Not sure why, but I think they were doing something with some other bands. And so they probably wanted a larger space or something like that.
Anything new with Veterans Memorial?
Meeting next week, so that's about the extent for now.
Are we still looking to put like another informational board over there?
No, we put one in.
Oh, we did?
We did put veterans put in a bulletin board
Oh,
and in a little box to take info and stuff rather than the old.
okay.
Got rid of the one that was more for like real estate agents and stuff, those temporary things. It had started to change color and fade pretty badly. So now we have a nicer, solid looking thing. Just got to do a little landscaping around those, but other than that, they're in.
I did remember, and before I forget, in the shed, there is what used to be a game, because I remember one of the cornrows, I was there, and I wasn't on the board, and it's a fishing thing, so it looks like those ocean waves.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Is that something we want to keep, or do we want to take it apart and repurpose it for something else? Because I guess there's fish and whatever that's still there and poles for the
I
gate.
don't know if there are poles or not. I haven't
I
seen those.
was told there was.
I haven't seen them.
I haven't
The
seen
poles
them.
that are in there are not from that. Those are from
She
the
said there
water
was
board.
plastic fish with them,
Oh, attached to the board?
no, attached to the poles.
And the
Who said
poles
they were there?
Where?
Julia was
Where
there
were
with
the,
Linda.
where were the poles?
They're not, they're like in a bin.
In a cardboard box?
No, all the cardboard boxes are gone, I was
Well,
told.
no, there was a cardboard box with stuff that was from the water board that they used for the water safety fair.
I think so.
And
It's
part of
like,
that
you know,
was
it
there.
was just stuff
They had
I
the,
hadn't
they had the
seen before.
fishing stuff
They
like
had rods
that.
and stuff, but I don't know.
So that's what it would have probably been.
Exclusive.
I can't
Did they have
imagine.
plastic fish? I didn't remember them.
Theirs
They might
did,
have.
that they had.
Oh, okay.
So the fishing game was structured that you would throw the line over, and then people sitting behind it would attach something to it, a prize, and the kids would then get a prize. And that was the structure to it. The frame itself, the wood, is a bit faded, a little damaged, has some duct tape on it for some reason.
That's that big blue thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure.
Well, when I was in there, because our steps for the spin art were kind of ruined, right? Did those end up getting cleaned out, or that box that we used?
What?
So anyway, I thought maybe
Steps.
repurposing that board and building a platform so the kids
Well,
could stand
The
on.
bit's still, that box is still there, it's
That
fine.
box is still
Yeah.
fine after all the
Oh,
painting?
I wiped it all, it's,
Oh,
I mean,
I
it was.
thought it got tossed in the.
No, I didn't toss
in
that
the-
out, no. I just.
Oh.
It's
I
just
wiped
very
it down.
colorful.
Got you.
It's just glittery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's solid.
Okay.
That thing
Oh,
went
it's
great.
solid,
Yeah, that
all
thing's
right. I
very
just thought it would had a lot of paint on it.
It
I thought
did.
It got pitched.
It did get a lot, it had a lot of paint on it, yes.
Yeah.
But it gets paint every year, right?
No, well, this year
Oh.
it was poorly laid out, so that it got extra paint. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put something, if you're gonna put the spinner on top of it, put something in between there, like a cloth, like a tablecloth or something, or a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
A
That'll just
plastic
soak
garbage
up
bag would have helped.
The horror, because otherwise, yeah, it just looks like, it's
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
everywhere.
gosh, that was quite a.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think it could be refurbished? Could we play that game?
Or do we
again?
want
Like
to-
a
I think
cornrows?
so. I think it's just a matter of really looking at
Somebody
it, folding it
painting it,
out,
fixing
seeing what
it.
it needs, and trying
paint.
something. Maybe a coat of paint, maybe,
Was
figuring
it a
out.
popular thing when you,
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it was before my time.
was it part of the kids tent?
Yeah, I was in the kids' tent. and
Okay.
Kids seemed to have fun with it. yeah.
And I'm certain it might be something, even if the water board does a safety fair, they may be interested in
Yeah, that would
giving
be,
it a try with
exactly,
it.
that's a good idea.
But it seemed, yeah, I was looking at it, I was like, I think we should, I'm not ready to toss it quite yet. I feel like maybe there's a use to it. I did throw out some stuff. Just in case you guys were looking for something.
I didn't.
I just went in
I
there, I was
did,
like, this is
so.
going. I was like, this is a little, I was like, if it hasn't been used in the time I've been involved in throwing it out. So there was a few things that got tossed. Just junky things, yeah.
Is there anything new with the Mania Park?
Dave Gillen, our administrator, did meet with a representative from the playground company, the company that's installing the current playground, to look at that area, to determine installations possibilities for the swing set. So hopefully they'll be able to do that while they're here, but they can certainly do that for us. So I'm hoping that'll get done before the end of the season.
And then updates on Claire Miller Park.
If you haven't been by, it's going pretty quick. It looks pretty cool. They've been working pretty consistently since last Monday. Definitely glad we didn't let them start the week before, because that would have been a mess for the cornrows.
Yeah.
That'd have been a total nightmare. But they're moving pretty quick. It looks like they know what they're doing and everything. So we'll have a playground pretty soon, it looks like.
So are they, the people installing the playground, is that going to be separate from the people who are going to pour the cement or add the surface, whatever?
Well, it's under the single contractor, but they will be contracting out. They contract out for the pour in place rubber section, because that is a specialty thing, and they have a company they want to use that they trust. And that's for just the section that's going to be poured in place, because part of it is going to be wood chips still.
Yeah.
To mitigate some of the costs, we did that.
Tennis courts and pickleball courts, update?
This past weekend, HT Sarger went out and was supposed to try and flatten a little further some of the repair spots. I was looking at it, I'm not sure how well that went. Fencing is supposed to go up this Wednesday. Hopefully we'll do some more on that. We did discuss it at the council meeting, the surfacing and everything. We approved that they're going to have them do a power wash for sure on the courts to get all the dust off before they add the new coating. They're going to do a seal at the joints of all the repairs. Hopefully that'll make it a little more, solidify everything a little better, and we'll see where it goes. I think today they were actually out installing the posts for the pickleball courts. Looked like that's what they were doing. So, yeah, things are progressing. Hopefully things will go well.
Any kind of a time frame?
Not entirely, just because I know the fencing was the first thing, and so I'm not quite sure when they're going to get started on the actual court surfacing. Thanks.
BMX track?
This week the surveyor should be out to do that, and once she's done with that, the company can get going on putting it in. As if you've seen it, there are materials everywhere. So Rousseau, yeah, once that's the Rousseau Excavating is the company that's going to be doing the actual installation. In fact, we used some of the material from the playground that was torn out of the earth, and that was brought over. So pretty much anywhere we've ripped stuff out of the ground, we have brought over there. So kind of interesting setup, but yeah, so work should be starting on that relatively soon, and from there it should be a week or two, I think, is what it sounded like. So yeah, we'll be going on that soon.
Anything else? Liaison reports, planning?
There was no August Planning Commission meeting, so I've got nothing to report there. We do have a September meeting scheduled next week where we're having a public hearing on a couple of our ordinances that we updated some language recently for setbacks and another one for signs. We'll have public hearing that's a requirement. I don't expect anybody's going to come, but they have the opportunity if they want.
Remind me, what is the sign thing for?
That, we actually just removed a lot of language. There was a Supreme Court ruling about content
political
and
signs,
yeah,
right?
well, or content on signs in general. So we ended up stripping out. We modified a few things, but we mostly just removed a lot of language from it. So just so we were consistent with the latest Supreme Court. We don't want to run afoul of the Supreme Court here in Wolverine Lake.
That'd be cool, though. Such and such versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
That got the Supreme Court. I mean, hey, that's a new goal for the village.
Council liaison?
Met last Wednesday, appointed Jerry Schlaff to the Water Management Board. Dan Bennett, the Vice President of Municipal Sales of Priority Waste, came out and spoke to us about garbage. He was presented it was a very good presentation, a good discussion, explaining a lot of what went on and why things happened the way they happened, what they're doing to address the problems and the errors, and getting themselves back to where they were. It's early in the meeting if you really want to watch it. It's actually pretty informative because I don't want to go through all of it. But just to give you a general idea, they had 75 trucks show up with no axles, for example, and they had done a assessment in March or April with this contract, and then from that time to the time they had delivery on July 1st, it went from a handful of trucks, 20 some odd trucks, to all of a sudden 230 that were deemed not safe to operate. So they shipped them to 5 different states for repairs and things like that. It's, as of August 1st, 130 trucks were back. So they've been slowly being able to getting trucks on the road, things like that. We were assured that as of right now, there is no plans to move our day from Monday. They're doing some rejiggering with Commerce, for example, on days to even things out a little bit. They had a day where they had a lot more routes on one of the days because they're a 4-day service. commerce entirely and things like that, so, but we're good on Mondays. Some of the interesting things they're gonna do is they're gonna have a cameras on the trucks for 360-degree view. They'll also have, that will provide them, so like, if you say, hey, my stuff wasn't picked up, they'll be able to see it. And they can potentially catch it while the truck is still on the road, so the truck can go back and get it. They're also installing AI cameras to help identify dangerous materials. So before they start getting into the system, before they start getting compacted, things that are flammable, batteries, things like that, paints, all that kind of stuff, they'll be able to identify it. And they can also identify, is it a concentrated area? Like, is this one little subsection of the community having problems with this? Well, then they can do targeted education. So they do have some neat technology they're talking about using. So yeah, very interesting, learned a lot. And yeah, if you have questions or want to learn more, I suggest giving you a little watch. Approved paving, we approved payments for the paving project. The Penny Lake ditch enclosure, Wolverine Drive ditch enclosure is pretty much done. All the driveways have been repaired. Now it's just a matter of landscape work being done to get that stuff back up to level. Discussed thoroughly the sports court repairs. We ended up spending some extra money for the resurfacing to, like I said, the power washing and the dressing of the joints. It turns out the company was not aware that it was a repair job, not a total resurfacing when they bid on it. So there was some modifications there to that. And that's also where we raised concerns about, particularly Councilman Nedrow, President Nedrow, about the repair spots being a little too high. And that's why HG Sargo was supposed to have come out this past weekend to work on them. We reprogrammed funding for CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant, to make sure it went to something good rather than the government taking it back. Then we did some other things. We approved stuff for beautification, including the purchasing of 500 yellow daffodil bulbs and 300 crocus mixed bulbs. We did not debate that because I don't think any of us actually knew what those were. So, crocus, there you go.
They're spring flowers.
Well, you guys are safe because I think most of the room had no idea about parsing that down into anything else. We did have a very cool thing that's happening. We approved an interlocal agreement between Wixom, Wolverine Lake, White Lake, and Walled Lake to have a mental health co-response team. So essentially, it's like a person who's essentially a social worker who will now be on duty with those communities to help respond, police responses. So when police are responding to a mental health situation, it's not just going to be the police, it's going to be this social worker, this individual with that training to respond and then follow up. Because too often what happens is a person has a mental health issue, they go to the ER, they're out in 45 minutes, and that's the end of it. Now we'll have a better response, being able to follow up and address it, as mental health issues have increased significantly over the last several years. This has become a program. Hillary Nussbaum, who is a member of that organization, was out to speak with us and explain what they do and how they do it. And one day a week, we will actually have a person on site who will be following up on things, and then and throughout the week, it doesn't matter where they are within the communities, they will be able to come out and help out. And for the first few years, we are covered by a grant and other things for the cost of employing this individual. So it doesn't going to cost the village anything, and we're getting, I think, a tremendous benefit. These are all master social workers. They have, very well educated in their field, and will hopefully help with addressing some of these problems within our community and the surrounding communities. And then we approved the second reading of the permit for the license permit requirement for fishing. Good thing about that is it turns that into a ordinance violation or no longer a misdemeanor, because at the state level it's a misdemeanor technically, so arrestable offense. With us, it's not. We changed our village legal services because the company or the entity we're currently with the practice is closing up, and our current village attorney, Jennifer, is joining another firm. So we're just hiring them, continuing with them for our legal advice, for our prosecutorial aspect. We are going to be going out for bid and seeing what other firms are out there. And then we had something very cool. Officer Grunwald came out to speak with us about the summer's boating season. So that was interesting, learning a little bit about what's going on in the lake and everything else. And he did admit he had no accidents, we had no arrests, we had no fatalities or injuries. He says most of the problems end up being with non-residents who don't know the rules, who, and it's in fact before 11:30 or 11 o'clock. It's the fishermen launching and then zipping right out. And that's really what has been an issue for apparently a lot of times. So, yeah, very interesting. They're talking about maybe doing more boater safety courses and things like that. Maybe just having a boater refresher course as well as an option for folks. So we'll see how all that goes. But yeah, very interesting, some of the things going on and how they manage it. So yeah, and that was about it. It was a long meeting.
I have Commerce Parks and Rec liaison did not communicate to me, so I have nothing to add there. Comments from board members?
I hear we're finally getting the culvert fixed. which
Oh,
is
yeah, I
good
forgot
news.
to have you mention that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Friday, they're
So
starting.
that's starting Friday. Hopefully it'll be done by Monday.
I said, aren't they going to have to be with school buses?
Well, they're starting, I think, Friday morning, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
8 o'clock
already-
Friday
it's gonna
morning,
be-
it
It's
closes.
already going to be a
When they're
mess.
Starting it.
But,
So that'll get the
Buses will be
school
routing anyway.
morning in
Yeah.
before they start, because,
so but the afternoon will
but
be.
the afternoon will be
diverted.
detoured, yeah.
And then hopefully, now this is, basically they're going to rip off the top, pull the sucker out, put the new one in, and hopefully get it repaved in time for Monday morning.
Okay, good.
So hopefully it'll be, if it's a dry, nice weekend and everything else, and things will work out because it is in desperate need based on both ends. Andy was checking out our side and he said it's rough. So this definitely needs to happen.
So that's good news. It's going to be taken care of.
No updates on McCoy paving or Ladd paving, so don't know when that'll happen.
Is that Oakland County, is that?
That is the Oakland County Road Commission.
And then the bed, I mean, I don't know how bad it is, but I know a lot of people complain, Benstein right there where they repainted.
That is also
their-
Oakland County Road Commission,
Okay.
but that would probably be something also with Commerce Township because it was their project that caused it to
Oh, okay.
break. So I don't know how that works exactly, but hopefully at some point that needs working,
Yeah.
for sure.
I was just so pleased about how our corn festival worked out. Even though it was chilly, it was nice, and it's just nice to see so many people in our community come out and enjoy it.
Totally.
It's a fun day. A long day, but a fun day for us.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people said, oh, it's gotten better and better every year.
I think so,
That's
too.
good, yeah.
Thanks, Molly.
No, thank you all. I feel, I know that like we're
You're a great
chairs, but I feel like
organizer,
we're
yeah.
all in it. I couldn't do it without all you guys, so I wouldn't do it without all you guys.
The next meeting is changed from the 21st to the 28th,
For,
our next board meeting.
so we can vote
we
on
can do
those
the
Halloween decorations.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Can I get a motion?
All
Motion
motion
to adjourn.
adjourned.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
If anybody wants to